So Hedera and Algorand have come out with a big announcement today, and they will be solving this particular problem, which is by far one of the biggest problems in the cryptocurrency space. I also do have another Hedera project that I want to be sharing with you that I haven't seen, and it is to do with the music industry. And of course, we will be looking at the price action for Hedera Hbar coin. All I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. So as you can see over here, we are in the green. Crypto market is doing great. A lot of these coins are now up by 10% or more because of the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. So we are having a nice day, and as you can see, HBAR is up by 10.5%. So pretty good stuff on Thursday. So the big partnership comes from Hedera and Algorand, and I thought that there could be something brewing on, as I said in my previous video just yesterday. So it is a breaking news because Hedera and Algorand have now partnered to launch the Decentralized Recovery Alliance and pioneering a new mass market industry standard for key recovery that is open source, interoperable, and secure across networks and wallets. Essentially, what all of this means, and to break it down into very simple terms, is that we all know that we have access to our private keys, only us, for our digital assets, right? And what happens when you lose that key? Well, unfortunately, you cannot recover it. If you lose it, you forget it, then that's it. Your digital assets have gone, your investment's gone, meaning that you can no longer recover that money. And so essentially, Hedera and Algorand have now partnered with each other together, not in competition, but to provide a solution where you are able to have helpers that you can designate that will have a portion of your private key. Let's say, for example, you have 5 helpers, then they will have a fifth of that information for your passwords and things like that, and it will communicate with each other to make sure that they still have that portion of the key automatically. And then if you do lose your key, for example, you then have your helpers that are able to recover that key, but they won't essentially know what your private key actually is. So it might seem a little bit confusing, but all what it means is that they're going to be having all of this data behind the scenes. And so if you do actually lose that key, well, they've already got it, and so you will be able to get it back. And you can see over here that it is brought to you by Generation Infinity. So let's take a look at this interview. Now, I have watched it, but like I always do, I'm just going to be showing you a few key clips that I have pointed out, and they will be able to explain the concept as well, so that you get a better idea of what exactly they are going to be doing.
For the average person who's venturing into digital assets is the key. The private key is required to spend those assets. It's essentially your right of ownership over those assets. And one of the benefits of Web3 is that having this single key that you own gives a great responsibility of self-sovereignty. It's not with the bank, it's with you. And that's a wonderful virtue of the technologies that we have created and we are working on. However, with that comes a huge responsibility. And folks out there have lost these keys, and with that they lose their assets. And so with Swirls Labs, Lehman and his team have come up with a wonderful protocol for how we can ensure that these keys are kept secure in a decentralized manner, and if someone was to lose those keys, they can be recovered without having to trust any one party.
And so, like John mentions over here, the most important thing when it comes to cryptocurrency and with your digital assets is that you are the only one that has access to the private key, and it is not with any other intermediary or bank or any other institution. So you've got the access to the key, but with that comes great responsibility and accountability, because now that you have access to that private key, only you know it, so nobody else is able to recover it. And so what they are saying is currently that we have a black hole in the crypto industry, that if you lose a key, well, there's no turning back. And I think that's a problem that they're trying to sort out. And when he goes on to talk about the protocol, that's when they start to talk about the helpers knowing that portion of the key, and that is how you will be able to get access to that information, and it will be recoverable through that protocol that they will be integrating. So let's take a look at what Lehman has said.
Maybe we'll go to passkeys, but then you have information in your phone that does the passkey. There's always some secret somewhere that you need to protect. And our whole lives are moving online and being controlled with these things. You don't want to give it to someone else, not your keys, not your crypto, right? And you want to have it yourself, so then you lose it. And I get emails from someone saying, I've lost my 24-year-old mnemonic. Could you create another one for me? No. but it's bad, because every part of our life has a safety net, but not this one. If you lose your password to your bank, someday you'll get into your bank account. If you lose your key for a crypto account, you're out of luck. And so what you have to do is be able to share it with some friends and family, maybe your bankers, maybe your lawyers, but share it with multiple helpers, and have your phone every day asking their device, do you still have my part of it? That's really important. And keep it secret. You don't want to know, don't want the world to know how many helpers you have or who they are. This is important. But the most important thing is it's got to be interoperable. Every wallet, every password manager, this isn't just blockchain, every password manager needs to interoperate. So we've got to have a standard that everyone uses. And it has to be open source and everyone. And that's why I think it is so great that we have this partnership and we're bringing in others also, other blockchains, banks and credit unions and other people. It's just so important to do that.
So as Lehman mentions over here, you have these designated helpers, whether it would be your friends, family or professionals, and it does hide how many helpers that you have and who they are as well. So they will be protecting your privacy, so nobody will know who the helper is. And again, like I said before, with how many ever helpers that you have, each helper will have a portion of that secret. And this is how they are able to create the backup. If, for example, you lose your PIN number to the bank account, you can always recover it via the bank. Whereas with the crypto industry, we don't have that recovery and that ability. And so I think that this partnership between Hedera and Algo and of course Swell Labs is very pivotal, not only for these two but for the whole industry in general, and it's going to be solving a big problem. And like he has mentioned with interoperability, there needs to be standardization across the board so it can work with multiple systems, and I think if we can do that, then surely we should have mass adoption. And I definitely think that this is another golden egg that we have in the bag for 2024. I mean, yesterday that we already saw I thought was a golden egg, but I think this has by far just beaten it. Now we are going to be taking a look at what Charles has said. He says, some great work by our friends at Earthling Land, and another example of talented builders using Hedera. And Earthlings Land yesterday actually did put out a tweet saying that they welcome Charles Adkins, and now Charles has mentioned them in his recent tweet just today. And so I definitely think that there might be something going on in the background. You can see over here where they have tagged them, and it is good to see that he has given them recognition, and I do like what they have built so far. But not only that, you'll see over here that we have a reply from the co-founder of CentX, and CentX are an NFT marketplace. They're gamifying the trading experience, and it is built on Hedera, and they have asked if they could have a chat with him to be able to introduce him to CentX. And Charles has replied saying that he's got a busy schedule in January, but he is definitely open to having that chat early in February. So it goes to show not only is he recognizing Earthlings Land, but anybody else that does communicate with him, he has actually shown an interest and put forward a time that they will be able to discuss this. And it is very good that we have our president that is keen on looking at these other Hedera projects. We are currently trading at 0.08354. We are up by 9.2% on the one-day chart, which is good. We are finally at that 8-cent level where we're really trying to get to that level just yesterday. For the volume, we are up by 61.27% and we are trading at $132.6 million. And in the earlier hours of the morning, you can see that we are trading at 0.08238. Now the highest that we actually went to for the day was 0.08733. Not so far off from that 9-cent level, right? We have pulled back, but obviously that makes sense if we've had that massive jump today. So on the 7-day chart, we are down by 5.58%, but it doesn't really matter as much because we have now come up here, as you can see, on the 10th where we were trading at 0.07535. We were at that 7-cent level for quite some time, and we were able to get back up to 8 cents for the past couple of days, but now we have made that jump with the spot Bitcoin ETF approvals. The lowest that we went to for the 7-day chart was 0.07131. We are up significantly from there, and you can see that we are higher than the levels where we were before, originally just over a week ago now. So I definitely want to see HBAR to be able to close in at that 8-cent level and remain there. If we have a look at the 1 month chart, we are up by 15.3%, and you can see if we are able to continue this rally, we should be able to go all the way up to that 9-cent level again and make our way onto 10 cents. Guys, if you want daily Hedera HBAR coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.